Hello, and welcome back to the Rise and Align podcast, where we talk about all things high vibrational. We are your hosts. My name is Halie.
And I'm Demi, and today we felt called to do a collective reading. So if you're here listening, this message is for you. We are currently going through the change in season, and we just felt like it was a perfect time to read for the collective.
This is a great way for us to take a pause and connect back with our intuition, connect back within. So as we go through our reading, I recommend having maybe a journal in front of you so that you can take notes and that you can just note anything that comes up, and then following the episode, or if you want to pause in between, you can take that time to connect, see what is coming through for you, and just reflect on this message and how it might apply to you. Okay, so we're going to do a 3-card spread. And we're going to pull a card from 3 different decks. And maybe not all of these resonate with you. Maybe there's one that will stand out that you feel really called to, or that, feels like it's more for you. Maybe that's the case. Otherwise, you can reflect on all 3 of these. We do believe strongly in, if this message found its way to you, that it is meant for you. So the first deck that we're pulling from is the Moon Witch Tarot deck, one of our favorites, and this is what it looks like. So if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, this is what it looks like. One thing to note, we do have an episode all about tarot if you want to know more information about it, so we'll link that as well, just so you can have that to reference.
And if you are like in the car, you don't have access to a journal right now, don't worry. You are meant to receive whatever you receive out of this episode. Okay, first card is the 5 of Cups. So if you are watching the video version, I'm going to hold up the card for you to see. And if you are not watching the video version, the 5 of Cups is a woman standing with her back towards us, and she is facing the mountains. There are 3 cups spilled next to her and 2 standing, and she's standing next to water. And there's a bridge on her right side. She's kind of holding her head, almost like her hair is to one side. It almost looks like she's stressed out or like wondering something, but I could be wrong. I know that the cups represent the heart. They represent change, fall, which is perfect timing, and water.
Okay, so I am referencing the little booklet that the deck came with, and I just wanted to give like a little more information about the Suit of Cups. So the Suit of Cups is, like I think Demi said, associated with the element of water, deeply connected with feelings, emotions, relationships, and intuition. It can, let's see. The cups can symbolize the womb, feminine energy, represents your emotional state, your feelings about something or someone, and situations or events. This suit is very flowing and adaptable, just like water, cleansing, healing, gentle, and intuitive, but unpredictable, fast, and sometimes bubbling with emotions. So I want to say just right off the bat, I'm like, oh no, like I don't want to share this because the first sentence says that it's one of the saddest tarot cards. But the reason that, or the fact that I feel that way, I think is why it's so important to share this, because I don't think that we should be hiding from the shadows. And I think it's so important to bring these things that we don't want to look at to light. So I think this is actually going to be a really important message. So themes around this card are pessimism, regret, disappointment, and sadness. So some tarot readers call this the self-pity card. It depicts a witch standing with her back turned to us. Before her, 3 cups are overturned and water is spilling onto the ground. She is so focused on the spilled cups that she doesn't notice the 2 full cups right behind her. The 5 of Cups usually suggests that you have been directing your energy towards the wrong things. Perhaps you're focusing on missed opportunities, something you're lacking, or disappointments in relationships, instead of focusing on things that are presently available to you or future opportunities. The Five of Cups could also suggest that you lost something. Perhaps you lost something of an emotional nature. The lesson remains the same. Focus on all the beautiful things that you have in your life. Find positive outlets to direct your energy and be open to new possibilities. Rise above your sadness and spilled cups. Move on. The bridge is there to help you cross these unstable waters. Now, I don't think I pulled this reversed, but there is always an opposite to everything. So there is a reversed meaning to the card. So if you resonate with this, it says that it is a card of healing and acceptance. You accepted the fact that you cannot change the past and you are moving on. All your past experiences made you stronger. You are ready for anything. Perhaps you're not 100% sure how you're going to handle certain disappointments or setbacks in your life, but you are still excited for what the future holds. You have limitless potential. Do not hold yourself back.
That resonated for me deeply. But, we always talk about it's so important to focus on what you do want, not what you don't want. And I think it's easier and possibly more habitual for a lot of us to focus on the problems and the negative, but it's so much more powerful to focus on the solution, focus on what you do have, because you will receive more of that.
Yes.
Energy flows where your focus goes.
Yes. Two things that we talk about is, like the power of gratitude. The universe loves gratitude. So the more that you're grateful, the more that you'll have to be grateful for. And I'm going to name this the snowball effect, because I always reference it as like a snowball. Once you start to focus on those things, maybe the little things, you have to start small to start changing some thought patterns maybe. So you start focusing on little things, and then eventually that will snowball into your well-being, your overall happiness being better, because you will train yourself to focus on the good that you have in all aspects of your life. So even if that feels hard right now, because maybe you do feel like a lot is going wrong, start small. Focus on the little things. What can you be grateful for? Because honestly, there's so much to be grateful for, whether it's the breath that you're taking right now or the bed that you have to sleep on. We all have something to be grateful for.
Absolutely. I think it's so important to remember, everything is always working out for us. It really is. It really is. It always has. It always will. And so when all of these things are kind of piling up, just take a deep breath and release them. If they are not happening right here, right now, you do not have to worry or stress or doubt or any of those things. You don't have to do anything. Just let it go, be here now, and trust, have faith that it will work out, because it always does.
Always. I do also just love that, it mentioned that there's 3 cups that are spilled, and that's where her attention is focused, when there's 2 full cups right next to her. It's also kind of a matter of perspective, or, where you put your attention. So where do you want to put your attention? What do you want to bring to life? What do you want to, think of planting seeds. What do you want? What seeds of intention do you want to plant? Do you want to continue to grow these negative things that are coming up, or do you want to focus your attention on growing beautiful, wonderful things in your life? The second card we are pulling is from the Wild Mystic Oracle card set, and I love this one. It's not necessarily a tarot card, but oracle cards can be used in the same purpose. Yeah. Yeah. That was the one. So oracle cards can be used similarly to connect to your intuition and receive messages. So this is illustrated and written by Anastasia Catrice, and this is what it looks like if you're watching the video.
I've never pulled this one before. I'm excited.
Ooh, okay. So this is of a beautiful bear. It has long fur, which I love, and it has a symbol on his forehead, And then below it, there's like a polar bear in almost like a womb space, like encircled by something. And then there's flowers all around it too. So again, if you're watching, the card will be on the screen for you to look at and reflect on.
This card represents rest, which I feel like is another perfect message, because with the changing of seasons, it's coming to an end of summer, and we know what happens after fall. The bears go into hibernation. So this card represents the winter months and essential rest. In nature, hibernation is a part of survival for many creatures. The body is calmed for slumber through the cold months. Metabolism is slowed. Physical activity is reduced. It is the tranquil time of silence before the song of spring. In today's busy world, it is important to take time to rest, recuperate, and reinvigorate yourself. Unlike Heron, who inspires psychological rest, Bear urges physical rest. This card tells you to reserve your energy and take a moment to look inward. On the bear's forehead is the symbol for the wheel of the year. Rest is a crucial part of the yearly cycle. Humanity's need for rest has caused us to create holidays, vacations, and seasonal celebrations. This card is a reminder that we all have our own cycles of being, to which we should listen. Whether you are a night owl or an early bird, if the darkening seasons affect your mental health, or if you menstruate, cycles can affect your mood and way of life. This card is a reminder to listen to your needs and rest when required. The shadow reading, or the reversed meaning, is there are many forms of hibernation, generally caused by weather, lack of food, or seasonal cues. Bears enter a form of torpor. While their bodies use minimal energy, they are still able to wake if necessary. The bear can be a symbol of readiness, able to rise from slumber and spring into action. Many cultures also see the bear as a representation of power. Warriors, such as Scandinavian berserkers, donned bearskins to frighten their enemies or harness the bear's power. The bear at rest is a coiled spring, ready to act if disturbed. This card may symbolize a well of untapped power, a simmering temper, or a burgeoning potential. The element is earth. So I definitely feel a grounding energy with this, and really going inward, listening to what your soul has to say. Flora, lavender, chamomile, passion flower, and valerian. I love that because I have been drinking a lot of like lavender and chamomile tea at night, just to kind of rest and make sure I get a good night's sleep. Stones are rose quartz, hematite, malachite, amethyst, howlite, and smoky quartz, all of which embody like anti-anxiety properties. They're all like very calming. They absorb negative energy. They bring you love. Spell work is sleep or dream work, calling on reserves of energy, strength, self-care, winter rites, and Yule ritual.
I love this card so much. One, the fact that it mentions like rest is necessary for survival. It is so true, and we've talked about it before, but in how we've been trained in our society today, many of us don't allow our nervous systems to rest, and that can cause a lot of disruptions in our health and physically, spiritually, mentally. And I think that this is a great reminder that we do need to rest in order to show up as our highest, best selves. So take a break. Like for me, I think the biggest resistance I have to that is like I feel guilty for resting, especially in the middle of summer, or I guess towards the end of summer. But I have noticed that when I actually take that time to rest, you kind of get like divine inspiration when you take time to rest and not like be doing all the time. But also, when you are ready to crawl out of that womb or out of hibernation, you show up even better. Like you have more energy and you're more excited and creative, and without that you are just like running on empty all the time, and that truly doesn't get you anywhere. And I also love that this offers like tools. You know, we talk about our little toolbox, like crystals and herbs that you can uh, eat or have tea or use in spells to like help kind of manifest this energy. I love working with tools. So if that resonates with you, like I highly recommend getting some lavender, getting those crystals to have around you to remind you of that and to begin to kind of surround yourself in that energy to help actually calm yourself down and allow yourself to rest. The final thing that I would say about that is I think that this is the perfect time to start thinking about rest, because summer is a very masculine season and it's about doing. And towards the end of summer, I think it's just a great reminder to kind of slow down, like reap what you've sown, like allow yourself to see all that you've done, you know, over the course of the past few months, and like take that in and be present with it, because it's going to be gone before we know it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I also think that savoring each season, like we definitely have talked about that. We have episodes on all of the seasons, but it does make it so much easier to go into it instead of like dreading it. It's like, okay, that's going to be my time where I can rest. And there are two messages in this card that I have been receiving a lot lately. One is to sync with your cycle. If you are a woman, right before you menstruate and during is not the time to be working. It is the time to rest, go inward, be easy. And then when you get that burst of energy when you're done with your cycle, it is so much easier to get more done, and it is inspired and you are energetic and it just flows from you. That is the perfect time to be planning to do work. The other thing is, I find myself, and I know you do too, wanting to do so many things. I have so many interests. I love learning. I love expanding. I want a million streams of income. And so I will pursue 1,000 things at once. And I'm a mom. So I have to like clean the house and stuff, you know, it never ends. So I think what I've been really receiving lately is like pull your energy back into you and choose one thing at a time to focus on instead of like straining yourself in 1,000 different directions, which is also very representative of like summertime energy. We're kind of going, and it's time to start slowing down.
Yes, love that so much. So the third and final deck we will be reading from is the Complete Arthurian Tarot. And this is by Catlin and John Matthews, and the cards are illustrated by Miranda Gray. Okay, so this set is a little bit different than traditional tarot as well. It just is a little more like symbolic, and so the words are, or the names are just a little bit different. This is Spear 7, and there is a single sphere pointing towards the sky in front of this old ruin with like moss on the rocks and a cloudy sky. It's a very like Celtic inspired deck, so if that resonates with you, this is a really good deck to explore as well.
This is my oldest and trustiest deck. The spear represents wands, diamonds, summer, and fire. Spear 7, an ancient dwelling, is refortified and well defended in Arthur's protection of Britain. The historical figure of Arthur successfully united the Romano-British forces to defeat the invading Saxons, thus turning conquest into settlement and earning himself an honored place in history. Upright, it represents courageous ability, success despite opposition, tenacity and persistence, defense of strongly held beliefs. Reversed, it represents hesitation, indecision, leaving defenses weak. Vulnerabilities are evident. Question: where do you have to take a stand? Definitely, like always, setting boundaries is so important, you know, sticking to your beliefs. And for me, this has also tied into the first card where we were talking about focusing on what we do have, because I feel that when we are kind of trying to heal our inner child, or, you know, fighting our shadows in ways, it can be easy to get stuck in negative habitual patterns and focus on everything's wrong, everything's going bad, because our subconscious is trying to protect us, because we think we're going to get hurt. We think we're in danger on a subconscious level, where we're actually keeping ourselves stuck in that cycle.
Can I peek at this?
Yes.
So for me, so the themes are courageous ability, success despite opposition, tenacity, persistence, like strongly held beliefs. And what I am kind of feeling or getting from this card is like, I guess I can relate it to the podcast, where like we talk about some amazing things that I think that the world needs to know more of. And I think I almost have a little bit of a fear of being seen, and not necessarily on this platform. Like, I love what we're sharing, but I think I have like this belief that if a certain person sees what we're saying, like we'll get judged heavily for it, because a lot of the stuff that we talk about is very woo woo and
or controversial
and not necessarily what society is pushing and how society has been trained. So I think that deep down, like, there is a little bit of hesitancy there. Maybe sometimes I'm afraid to say certain things on certain platforms because maybe it'll be perceived wrong. And so I love that this is like encouraging being courageous and success despite opposition, you know, even in those moments, like staying true to your beliefs and holding them strongly. So I love that. I think that that's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, definitely. Card. Also, very synchronistically, I have Russ's for Here we go again.
No, I have to say one thing.
Yeah.
So I was listening to the newest Jay Shetty podcast.
Yeah.
And even Jay Shetty can't help but to mention Russ.
Yes. Yeah. Russ, we all love you. You're running the world. So I was reading Russ's first book. I've already read it twice, but this morning I had it on my dresser and I was like, I'm just going to read the first chapter. It'll be a good thing to start my day off with. And the first couple chapters, he talks about he believed from when he was 3 years old that he was going to be who he is today. And he said, you just have to be persistent between the time that you know what's going to happen and the time that the world catches up to it happening. Because that is like the biggest test, is in between when you feel in your heart what is meant to happen and the world hasn't caught up yet. It is, that is what makes it hard. Like, that is the point at which we're like, oh no, is someone going to judge me or something? And then it's like, I don't care. I'm going to be persistent. I'm going to stand up for my beliefs. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to do what matters because I know it matters. I know it's important. And I know this is our purpose. And like, just keep with it, because you know in your heart what's meant to be, and you know it's already yours. It's already happening. The physical is just catching up, but you have to stay persistent in those times.
Yes, that is so true. And I feel like the universe kind of plays this game of like, how bad do you want it? Because if you want it bad, like, you're not going to cower away from it. You're not going to worry about what other people think. Like, you are going to go full force towards it, like embody it, mind, body, and soul. So sometimes the universe is like, how bad do you want it? Prove it to me how bad you want this.
Yes. And I feel like it's easy to give in to your like, oh, well, I don't know if I feel like it. Oh, well, no one's watching it yet. Oh, well, no one's paying attention. And to give in to those little fear, doubt, and worry messages that you sometimes get. But it is so rewarding to stick with it and to do what is meaningful to you and to live in your purpose. Because when you do, I believe more than anything, you will be rewarded for that. It's impossible for it to be otherwise, because you attract your reality.
Yep. Yes. So I love that. That's a good one.
Yep. Yes. And that said, we are so grateful for you being here and helping us raise the frequency.
If you feel called to share what any of these messages brought to you, we would love to hear it. We love our community. We love having you here. We would just love to have a conversation about it. So feel free, comment, let us know what is coming up for you. And with that, we'll finish off this episode. We're just, again, so grateful to have you here. And we will just see you in the next episode.
Bye.